What if I told you that you have a way to guarantee good substats on your echoes? While no magic trick to fix all your bad RNG exists yet, in this video we will talk about everything you should do to efficiently get perfect echoes. And we will also cover a new interesting Substat Manipulation tech to see if you should start using it or if it's just a scam. Without further ado, my name is Seconds and let's get into it. Recently, a Substat Manipulation tech has been discovered. Supposedly, certain substats are tied to certain exact time windows and you can increase your odds at getting, for example, crit rate or crit damage by a lot following certain steps. We will try this tech together in the later portion of the video, after talking about how to actually farm and upgrade the echoes in the most efficient way and without any strange trick. Keep in mind that no matter what you see in any video on this topic, luck will always be a big factor, but there are ways to improve your chances of success. Let's start off by understanding how to efficiently farm echoes. You can get echoes of specific sets mainly through tacet fields, spending 60 wave plates for each run. Another option is data merge, which is the quickest way to dispose of your trash echoes and maybe get something you actually need in return. Or lastly, farming the overworld, where most of your echo farming will take place, so let's see how we can improve the farming process. First of all, you should choose only one unit to focus on, and farm their set until you are satisfied with the results. Leveling and tuning resources are scarce, so splitting your mats on multiple units will just give you barely decent echoes at best on multiple characters. Like in my case, where I made this mistake at the start of the game and I leveled a ton of echoes for all my characters. One tip I can give you to kind of work on multiple units at the same time is to farm echoes that share set with your secondary unit. For example, I'm pre-farming the Molten Rift set for Changli, and when I go hunting tree costs, I always start from the Violet Heron, as it can drop as either Fusion or Electro set, so in the off chance it drops the wrong set, I can still hope to get a good piece for my Calcaro. So if you're only gonna farm one echo cause you don't have time, look for one of which you need both sets. If you're farming all of them, it doesn't make a difference, of course. Most people already know that by now, but in case you don't, when farming your echoes you should always use the tracking function in your databank to hunt down the specific echo you need. A couple of weeks ago the tracker also got upgraded so that now it doesn't cap at around 30 mob kills and then says that no target was found, and instead allows you to farm every single mob on the map that you choose to track. Before talking about how to upgrade your echoes efficiently, let me give you a couple of tips to make your echo farming routine smoother. First of all, equip mobility echoes, such as the Inferno Rider or the Impermanence Heron. You will be running around a lot to follow the tracker, and using the long press skill of those echoes will make traversing so much quicker. You can even equip it to your support just to move faster. Lastly, use drop rate food buffs, please. I know cooking can be boring, but in this game it really is OP. Lemon braised pork and sweet and sour pork will give you respectively 20% and 50% increase in echo drop rate for 30 minutes, which, trust me, will add up and make your chances of getting the right echoes higher. I'm working on a cooking guide because, especially after the 1.1 new recipes dropped, I think there is so much value in actually cooking and actively using food buffs. Let me know in the comments below if you would be interested in a video on that. Moving on to how to efficiently upgrade your echoes in order to get the perfect stats you're looking for, first of all, I suggest you farm only one echo as much as possible to get as many good main stats as possible. Then you will start upgrading the first one to level 5 and tune it to see if the first stat you get is what you need, usually crit rate or crit damage. If your first roll is not something you want, don't waste resources leveling it further and just use it as fuel for your next echo, as you will retain 80% of the experience and 30% of the tuners used, and keep going until you get a good first substat roll. Then you proceed by leveling your echo to 15 and check the next two substats, aiming for at least 2 out of 3 good substats. If that's not the case, move on to the next echo and use the previous one to enhance it, and just rinse and repeat. Depending on how picky and patient you are, you could also go for one substat at a time and aim for 3 out of 3 good ones, and so on. Of course, the more picky you are, the better final results you can expect to have. The only case where I would advise to not be too picky is when upgrading 3-cast echoes, as getting a good main stat is way harder considering the huge pool of stats you can get. If you want, you can still use the same method, but I suggest you just level it to 15 and tune it 3 times. If you get at least one good stat like crit, then keep it. Generally, at least at the start of the game, you don't want to level echoes all the way up to 25. I suggest to stop at 20, because going from 20 to 25 will take you as much experience as going from 1 to 20, so you're better off leveling another echo. And then later on, when you will have the resources, you will get them to 25. To briefly go over all the places you can get Echo XP and tuners from, firstly of course we have Tacet Fields, then souvenir shops, Tower of Adversity and hologram shops, events and world exploration. You can also get them from your coral shop, but be mindful on how many corals you use, as they will be needed to get your free pulls of the patch. Since patch 1.1 you can craft blue tuners and purple tuners into gold ones, and also craft green and blue Echo XP with fluorite. It is limited to 8 of each per week though, so it's not much, but if you need a bit extra you can find it here. If I missed any meaningful place where you can get Echo XP, tell me in the comments below and I will edit a pinned comment with eventual added infos. Over to the Genius Society Discord server, they have been cooking some witchcraft to manipulate substats on echoes, and they came up with something called Echomancing. Essentially, the theory is based on the fact that true RNG in video games doesn't exist, which to be fair is true, and through a discrete amount of testing they found out that in Wuthering Waves substats are somewhat tied to time, specifically to the minutes, seconds and milliseconds. Results vary from server to server, but for example let's look at EU, cause that's where I play. Apparently if I were to tune on the 1st or 7th minute mark and click exactly every 5 or 15 seconds, I would have a 26% higher chance to get crit rate or crit damage as a substat. For the sake of science we will test these on a couple of my echoes and see how it goes. I will test single tuning every 15 seconds on multiple of my precious echoes for Changli. On the 1st and 7th minute, as those are the best ones for you apparently. So I did some testing, but my special brain fucked up the settings of the recording and didn't record the microphone. As you can see from the background footage, I had some mixed results, having one insane piece, a couple of good ones and a complete trash one. Both trying one substat at a time and 3 substats at the same time. If you think this can help you, by all means you do you. I don't think this is actually worth your time for a potential small odds increase, as it took me 20 minutes, most of which spent just waiting, and at the end of the day, it still is just RNG. Now, is it a scam? No, I don't think it is. The reasoning behind it is actually understandable, and to be fair, the Genius Society guys never claimed for the method to work 100% of the time, and get you perfect echoes with no effort. Let me know in the comments what do you think about this method, and if you tried it, how it went for you. But remember that at the end of the day, the only thing that will ever get you perfect rolls on your echoes is just subscribing to my channel and liking all my videos. Jokes aside, in my opinion, you are much better off increasing the efficiency of your echo farming and leveling, as we discussed before. Eventually, you will have insane echoes if you are patient and invest your resources properly, and if that's not the case, I'm sorry to diagnose you with a severe case of skill issue. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. Thank you to everyone with showing support in my recent Changli pre-release analysis, because I'm so overwhelmed by all the positive feedback you're sending my way. And I hope we will have many more videos like that one. Until next time, see ya!